Right, man in boxing, led the Flair Cops. Shout out to Goodfellas Sports TV.
All right, man. Got some more info for y'all. Some more 411 for y'all. Now, apparently, Al Haymon's plan was always to make Spence and Thurman for 3 belts. And I'm gonna talk about why. And some other little things that could be put in there as well too. So his plan was always to make them fight for 3 belts. Yeah, that was the way it was. Well, that's exactly how it was told to me. That's the plan. He wanted them to fight for 3 belts. You know, and that's been the plan for the beginning. So when Errol Spence go around and say, well, Keith Thurman won't fight me, that wasn't the plan for Al Haymon. But you gotta understand, Al Haymon has, whatever they do involved in boxing, especially in the square circle, Al Haymon has the final say so. In addition to that, you know, like I told y'all, Keith Thurman wasn't demanding $10 million. Keith Thurman wasn't turning down certain fights. That was Al Haymon. A lot of times, these PBC fighters don't even know Al Haymon be, you know, turning down fights or telling, you know, setting their demands pretty high. That's why you had like Eddie Hearn and other promoters try to go around Al Haymon back and go straight to Danny Garcia or go straight to Jamal Charlo. And that's why Jamal said, we sent it to Al Haymon because legally binding, they can't do nothing without Al Haymon's signature. That's what that contract is about. Now, have you ever seen somebody, you know, lead PBC in their prime? You haven't. Only people you seen lead PBC was Hugo Centennial Jr. and Vanes Monterosian. Monterosian didn't even have a career after that. He turned into a boxing trainer now. So, like I said before, they don't even have no career, bro. It's, you know, their career ends with Al Haymon. And that's the facts. Their careers end with Al. His contracts don't run out. And when they really look at those, open up them contracts, them fighters being held hostage. But they can't complain because allegedly it's in the contract. And some people say it's in the contract that they got to thank Al Haymon after fights. If that ain't being a narcissist, I don't know what else is. So it ain't Keith Thurman, like I said the other day, asking for $10 million. It ain't Jamal Charlo pricing himself out. It's Al Haymon. Al Haymon asking for money he can't even pay these dudes for their services. He asked for money that he can't even accommodate. So think about that for a minute. He asked for money that he can't even accommodate. So, you know what I'm saying? That's crazy. But the reason why the plan was always for 3 belts and not 4, it wasn't that Al Haymon didn't never want to recognize the WBO belt. It was that Bob Arum and Manny Pacquiao made it clear, even going back that far, that they had no interest in fighting Errol Spence. You know, and they really wasn't interested in fighting, you know, the likes of Keith Thurman and etc. And that's why they was trying to make it for 3 fights, because Manny Pacquiao and Bob made it clear, you know, they didn't want to fight. Now, you can fast forward and say, well, all of a sudden now Bob is cool with letting Terrence Crawford want to make a fight with Al Haymon now. But then you got to understand, he also said he was protecting Manny Pacquiao from Terrence Crawford. And they said even when Manny Pacquiao came over to PBC, he let it be known that he only wanted to fight Adrian Broner, Danny Garcia, and I believe it, hold on, I had to double check. Even when he came over, it was Danny Garcia, Adrian Broner, and he was willing to fight Keith Thurman when he came over, but he was never willing to fight Errol Spence, you know, prior to none of that. And I'm pretty sure, I'm not sure if he was willing to fight Keith Thurman, but I guess not. And then allow Keith Thurman to go over there and get that WBO belt. So there you have it. So when he came over, his plan was never to fight Errol Spence. That's why Errol Spence jumped in the ring. What you got to understand, all of this shit is scripted. Sometimes they got to go off script because fighters lose and fighters have things happen outside the ring and they not ready, or whatever the situation may be. Sometimes they got to go off script. But for the most part, they have a plan. And Al Haymon knew. And that's why Keith Thurman probably, that's why I'm kind of putting it together. That's why Keith Thurman probably went overseas and went away. Just wasn't over no injury, bro. Keith Thurman went away. Keith Thurman went away because he knew it was time to fight Errol Spence. You know, that's what it sounded like to me. But that fight was always supposed to be for 3 belts. And they also said if Al Haymon, the person that relayed this to me, Al Haymon would have stripped Ugas and gave Thurman the belt, we could have had a 3-belt unification already, and the winner would have got Bud. But, you know, the person that relaying this information says that it's going to happen. You know, I checked the Lion Killer podcast today. He said that he talked to somebody that's close to that situation. They said the Dan Rayfield report is true. That they are close to signing now. And and the person he's speaking on is mutual with both camps. Or girl, not sure, didn't specify. That they have mutual relationships with both camps. So, you know, there you have it. There you have it. There you have it. So, but yeah, their plan was for always to be 3 belt. And I guess when he got the 3rd belt and was trying to talk, Keith Thurman went away. You know, but Keith Thurman maintains there never was a contract sent. But then again, you know, if you overseas and you know, but Al Haymon still blessed him. So he can't be that mad at Keith Thurman. He still blessed him. When you think about it, he still blessed him with an opportunity to fight Pacquiao and get the bag. But then again, you got to remember, Manny Pacquiao said it was only Danny Garcia, Broner, and Thurman. And he already had, you know, beat Adrian Broner. I don't really remember where Danny Garcia was at the time. I'm pretty sure he was not too far from losing to Sean Porter. So Danny Garcia, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know why Danny Garcia didn't get that fight. But Thurman did. And obviously Thurman still had a head start. Because Thurman still held the belt. So, and Danny Garcia didn't hold the belt. So, probably if Danny Garcia would have beat Sean Porter, I don't have a timeline in front of me. He probably would have got a Manny Pacquiao fight. And I think that would have been a bad fight for him. But then again, he also a good counterpuncher. But I don't think he had enough oomph at 47 to stop Pacquiao. That probably would have been the first time you probably see Danny Garcia get stopped. To be honest. You know, to me, it was just a bad stylistic matchup. He said he didn't stop Broner. And he didn't, but Broner know how to go into survival mode. You know, Danny from Philly, they don't do survival mode. You know, they fight it out. But like I continue to say, but that was the plan the whole time. But then again, you know, I think Manny Pacquiao once again was being the ultimate opportunist. He seen Errol Spence got injured. He was willing to say, well, he ain't, you know, he probably ain't 100%. He went through that window. And I seen some flaws in the Danny Garcia fight, so I'll fight him. So, I mean, shit. You know, we could talk about, you know, Mayweather, you know, hiding behind drug testing and being scared of Manny Pacquiao and stuff. But Pacquiao was a huge opportunist, rehydration clause, catch weights, and, you know, not fighting the lineal titles throughout the division, fake titles. They saying he had 8 divisions. So we can go on and on about all of that. But he seen Thurman didn't look good versus Lopez. He almost got knocked out. He seen Errol Spence have an injury, and he thought he probably seen Danny Garcia touch him a little bit. And he was like, man, I could beat this guy. You know, I could beat this guy. And he was being an opportunist, the ultimate opportunist. And one thing about it is that Errol Spence that showed up against Dennis Ugas showed up against Pacquiao in September. Now, I don't know if he would. It was if. But if that guy showed up, Manny Pacquiao would have got really, really hurt, bro. He would have got hurt. He damn near would have got stopped. I probably side kind of seeing that performance he did with Ugas. I'm probably signed Errol Spence probably would have stopped him. But then again, you got, you know, Manny Pacquiao not going to just sit in front of Errol Spence and let him beat on him neither. If I was a bet man, I probably would have bet the stoppage. Only if I was a bet man. So, I mean, like I continue to say, man, it's the, you know, Al Haymon has a plan. But all of a sudden, I told y'all the other day, he paid Keith Thurman whatever he paid. I don't know what he paid him. He paid him money to drop the WBO belt. I mean, the WBC belt. And that's why Keith Thurman was ranked outside the top 50. He was ranked outside the top 50. He beat Mario Barrios, and he got re-ranked inside the top, at number 1, from outside the top 50 to number 1. So y'all probably don't want to believe me, but come on, I'm providing the evidence too. I'm providing the evidence. So I mean, like I continue to tell y'all, bro, all that shit be scripted, dude, already. They know who, where, when, why, what. And like I said, sometimes they gotta go off script. Sometimes they gotta go off script. I'm just telling y'all. Sometimes they gotta be like, this happened, he got into an accident or he lost or whatever, then, they go according to plan. It was like when they wanted Berto to beat Ortiz and they can make Floyd and Berto. But Berto didn't win. That was a plan for a long time. Berto ended up still getting his shot. But, it's Al's plan. Al's plan. That's Al Haymon's plan right then and there. That's his plan. And now, they said, well, he really want to make Thurman and Spence, but the demand for Crawford and Spence is too high. So one day you hear it's not happening, one day you hear it's happening. So, like I said, we just got to remain patient. And at the end of the day, bro, it's after a certain point, if they don't announce it after a certain point, bro, I'm not going. I ain't going, man. But if they announce it and within a certain point, I'm gonna go ahead and go. I hit me a ticket, but nonetheless, let me know what you girls and guys think. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and the subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications, increase your chance to get notifications. We go live and drop a video. Financially, you want to support the channel, Cash App, $ CJ Good 313, Venmo CJ Good 313, PayPal link description. Hit the link tree, find me on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, the whole 9. Episode from last night is up right today. Peace.